Hello, friends.
Welcome to episode 16 of our podcast, Kids Explorers. We're so excited that you're joining us on our journey to explore and discover new things. You might remember that in our last episode, we explored the wolves of Yellowstone National Park. We learned about how the wolves sadly became extinct, how that changed the entire ecosystem of the park, and what happened when the government brought the wolves back to these regions. Learning about these incredible creatures is super important, and we're so happy that the wolves returned to this beautiful park. This week, our podcast is a little bit different. You see, friends, in the last few months, Daniel, Isabella, and I got super interested in learning about garbage collection. In the early days of the COVID pandemic, when there was so little to do, we would often wait by the window on garbage day to see our neighborhood waste collectors coming by our home to pick up our garbage. We're so thankful for the incredibly important work that they do every day to make sure that we live in a beautiful and clean city.
That's right. Now, no matter where you are listening to us from, we are sure that you must have seen garbage trucks in your neighborhood. If you're anything like us, you must get super excited to see the garbage collectors come by your home. But have you ever paused to think about what waste collection really is?
Get ready, friends, because today we're taking a deep dive to learn about garbage, how it is collected, and what we could all do to make sure all our neighborhood remain clean and beautiful.
We're so lucky that this week we have a super expert join us to tell us all about waste collection in our city. Our special guest today is Kate Dykman, the manager of solid waste management in the City of Vaughan. Welcome to our podcast, Kate.
Thanks again for having me on your show. My name's Kate Dykman. I've been the manager of solid waste at the City of Vaughan for about 5 years now.
Kate, I have to admit, the kids have a ton of questions for you today.
That's true. Like, who collects the garbage?
And what type of garbage do you collect?
And where does it go?
And I have questions about garbage collection at parks.
Whoa, you guys! I must slow you down. Those are too many questions all at once. I think we should let Kate start by telling us about some of the super important work that is being done daily in the City of Vaughan to make sure that our city stays clean and beautiful. Kate, we'll give the floor to you to share your knowledge with us.
I think one of the questions you guys were interested in was, what kind of garbage do we pick up and how do we do it? Good question, because there is a lot of different waste collection systems in our city. Some of them are to do with your home. So we drive around the neighborhood. We have our contractor, Miller Waste. They are headquartered in Markham. And so they are under contract with the city. They have all the trucks, they have all the staff, and they go around to every single home in Vaughan every week and pick up garbage. Well, that's every other week. And then they pick up recycling and your green bin every week. And then during the summer months, they pick up your leaf and yard waste. So anything you rake up, branches, twigs, leaves, you put those in paper bags or in containers, and we pick that up spring to fall. So lots of different trucks in that contract, and that's everybody's garbage that comes out of their house. And then my colleagues in the Parks Department, they have smaller trucks, and they go around to all the different parks and sports fields. There's containers there that people can put their, drink cups or paper bags or whatever they brought to the park with them. And they have a smaller truck. And so city staff pick up those. And sometimes we also have people working for the city on contract, and they're picking up the litter, right? So sometimes people accidentally drop something, or maybe it gets blown out of their blue box, or, gets blown out of a garbage can. And so that litter sort of you've seen it on the ground, I think, that you've seen. We have to pick that up as well. So there's a couple of different systems that are serving your city, but they're all under the Public Works Department where I work. So parks, roads, sometimes I find things on the road, and then me, solid waste, which picks up all of your household garbage.
Whoa, that's so interesting. It sounds like so much planning is needed to arrange garbage pickup in the city.
Absolutely. It seems like a lot of people work very hard to make sure that our garbage gets collected. And I'm sure it costs a lot of money to get this work done as well.
I agree. You know, what Kate told us about garbage collection in our city made me wonder, what can people do to reduce how much garbage people produce?
That's a really good question. Kate, could you tell us more about this, please?
So are you guys familiar with the 3 R's of reduce, reuse, recycle?
No, what are the 3 R's?
So reduce, reuse, recycle is a really pretty old idea. I don't know if you guys knew, but the Blue Box program actually started in Ontario. We're the first part of Canada, first part of North America to start that program. It's been a long time. It's about 30 years. So a long, long time ago, we started this program. So reduce, reuse, recycle means that the first thing you want to do to reduce your waste, help the environment, reduce your impact, use less resources, is to think about how you don't use waste in the first place. So that's kind of the fun. There's lots of fun ways to do it, actually. I wanted to talk about some of the things that the city is doing with York Region, like, for example, Pierre Burton Library. But they have a neat thing called the Lendery. So it's a place where they lend out items that you would have to buy, and you would only use them like once or twice a year. So like if maybe, or you try before you buy, so you know if you really want it. So tennis rackets, Instant Pot, games that you play just in the summer, you can borrow them instead of having to buy them yourself. That's one way of reducing, or you have to buy something new. Another way is to borrow and share. So that means, say you have toys that you're not really interested in anymore. You've used them, you like them. Who do you give them to? You could give them to your friends. You could give them to a charity that resells them and uses the money for their work. We even have something called curbside giveaway weekends that happens 6 times over the summer, where you can just put them at the end of your driveway, put a free sign on them, and somebody will take them away and love them. And you can look around your neighborhood and find things that you're interested in. So that sort of happens organically, and people sort of have enjoyed getting into that, because normally you don't put things in your curb, but these certain weekends, everybody's encouraged to do that. So that's one way to reduce. And then the other thing is reuse. That's your next R, because you're already not buying anything new. So you're going to use things like, you bring your water bottle, right? You bring it to school. You don't have to buy a bottle of water in plastic. You can bring your own knife and fork, so you don't have to use plastic cutlery. You can bring those to restaurants that you're doing takeout food. You can bring your own grocery bags to the grocery store, and that's an easy one, so you don't have to get plastic bags. And so all these things where you have a reusable item means you don't have to throw something away. So that's a big movement that's happening even across our whole country. The federal government, the provincial government, our government, we're all behind that movement. That's the best things to do to reduce your waste before you even have to generate anything at all. Reduce and reuse. And then recycling, well, that's my business, right? So we do that every week. We sort out our garbage into your green bin and your recycling bin and your garbage can. Do you guys do that at home with your mom?
Yeah, we do. And we actually have very little food waste to put in our green bin. We have a composter in our backyard. We use it to make compost for our little backyard farm.
Yeah, that's a fun thing to do, because you see your food turn into soil before your very eyes. And it's really microscopic organisms eating your food, breaking it down, turning it into something we call compost. And then that goes in your garden and helps your plants grow. They love to grow in compost. So then we don't need a truck. We don't need anything. We just need your food scraps into your compost bin. And so for your listeners in Vaughan, the city does sell those composters for $20. We sort of keep the price down so that it's available to more people, and we will deliver it to your home, in addition to the program that York Region had as well.
Whoa, information overload. These are such awesome ideas. Kate, I've been wondering, what can be made from items we put in the blue box once they are taken away by the garbage collectors?
Sorting your garbage can be a little bit complicated. There's a lot to it. So 65% of everything we throw away doesn't go to the garbage. 65% is turned into compost, turned into new products. So there's certainly a lot of simple items that are actually quite valuable. So you've got your steel cans that your soups and stuff come in, your canned food. So that's steel. That can be made into anything else that's made of steel. You can make that into a building at the end of the day. And then you have your aluminum pop cans. Those are also very valuable. So that aluminum is something you mine from the earth. You have to go, like heavy machinery goes out and takes it from the earth. So we want to make sure that we use that over and over and over to make new pop cans, to make new things out of aluminum. It's a wonderful metal that we can use basically forever. We make new products from like pop bottles. So there's lots of different types of plastic, but some of them are actually made back into the clothing that you wear. So if you drink a pop or water from a plastic bottle, that plastic bottle is made into fleece. So if you have a fleece jacket, it's polyester jacket, that's from pop bottles. Certainly paper gets turned back into new paper. Any paper that you put in your recycling bin could be turned back into a cardboard box.
I know another recyclable item, glass. Glass could be recycled endless amounts of times, which also makes it a great resource.
I love that glass can be reused basically forever. But wait, I want to get back to the topic of paper. For our compost, we actually sometimes add shredded used paper. So now I wonder, does paper belong in the recycling bin or in the compost bin?
It depends if it gets really, let's say you have a paper plate. You've eaten like a piece of cake or a piece of pizza on there. It's got all that grease in there, so you put it in the green bin. But if it's a piece of paper a flyer that you got in your mailbox, that can get turned back into new paper. So that goes in the blue box. So as long as your paper is clean and dry, it goes always in your blue box because it'll get turned back into new paper. And that means sometimes when you buy products, you might look for, is it recycled? Is it 100% recycled? Is it 30% recycled? Then you know that whatever you put in your blue box is now turned back into the paper that you're buying. So you're sort of seeing the whole thing come back at you as a new product.
I didn't realize how awesome the cycle of recycling is. That means that we put the paper in recycling, then it gets turned into new paper which we buy in the stores. And once we use that paper, the cycle repeats itself.
That's super cool. I wonder, does the City of Vaughan collect garbage only from homes? Our daddy has an office, and I wonder if she'll pick up garbage from his work too.
So my department really just does your house. So all the houses in Vaughan, I think we're hitting 88,000 different houses that we collect from every week, 88,000. And then we also collect from a lot of condominiums and apartment buildings. So all those big towers that you see going up, we send separate trucks to those buildings as well. And I think we have just over 15,000 apartments, not buildings, but the actual apartments within those buildings. So 15,000 people that live in apartment buildings, we collect from them too. And then, like I said, the parks team collects all the garbage in the parks. But all the businesses and all the bigger institutions like schools and libraries, those buildings, they do their own garbage. So the municipality, the city, only takes care of our residents.
Yes, I think that Daddy mentioned that he has a private company come to pick up the garbage from his office. But it's incredible how many people live in our city, and how many trips the garbage collectors have to make to gather all the city's garbage.
I agree. I'm tired just thinking about all this work.
It definitely sounds like garbage collectors have a busy and not always easy job. Kate, I wonder, how has garbage collection changed in the City of Vaughan over the past few decades?
We made a big change about 15 years ago to do garbage every other week. And that made a big difference. So thank you, residents. That made a big difference in how much garbage versus how much recycling and organics we could pick up. So it's about a third for all those different streams versus we used to pick up garbage every week. And we used to pick up garbage twice a week. And it was, there wasn't much room for us to pick up the recycling and the compost, which are actually really valuable resources that we can use for a lot of other purposes.
That's really cool. Kate, I wonder, has the city seen a trend of less garbage being produced by residents since you've made the shift?
Yes. Once they introduced the green bin, like I said, a third of our garbage basically is in your green bin. So all the food waste, it's very heavy. We also take things like diapers. We take things like tissue paper. So I was going to mention, there's all the rooms in your house. There's basically 3 types of waste in every room. I was thinking of the bathroom. You have tissue that goes in the green bin. You have toilet paper rolls. Those go in the blue box. You've got shampoo bottles. Those go in the blue box. And really what's left in the garbage? Dental floss. Basically not very much is left in the garbage once you look at all that garbage coming out of your bathroom. And it might be a place that people don't think about putting 3 separate bins. I know I started myself and I'm like, oh, really? This isn't garbage. This is recycling and compost.
So now we know what happens with compost and recycling. But what happens with the actual garbage that the city collects?
Once we collect all our garbage, we hand it over to York Region and they send it off for composting. They send it to the recycling plant and they send it to an incinerator. Durham Region and York Region got together and they actually burn the garbage. So it doesn't go to a landfill. Only a part of it goes to a landfill currently, but the vast majority of our garbage is actually burned. And so it doesn't actually go to a landfill anymore. We had a very large landfill here in Vaughan, the Keel Valley landfill, and we had a Vaughan landfill, and those have both been closed down because of this is sort of newer technology. So it's very highly regulated. So the emissions, when you burn something, there's smoke, there's emissions. And so it's highly regulated so that the pollution from burning that garbage is contained and minimized by the facility. So technology is helping us on that front because landfills fill up and then you have to find more space for our garbage, right? So having this option means that we're able to burn it and we don't have to put it in a landfill anymore.
Wait, I didn't understand. What's an incinerator?
An incinerator is a special furnace in which garbage is burned. This is done so garbage does not pile up in a landfill. Using an incinerator instead of piling up garbage on a landfill reduces problems like smell, water contamination, and pests, to name just a few.
I have another question. I wonder, why is it important that we sort out garbage into different bins instead of just placing it into one bin?
It really does make a big difference when you sort your garbage. Recycling, it's actually part of a world market. So when they sort that metal, they make it into big bales and they sell it as a commodity. So people really, everything that you put into your blue box, as long as it's recyclable, part of the list that, that we provide people through our phone app or through our calendar, as long as it's on that list, it really does get reused into new products. And it becomes a valuable resource, as well as all your food scraps and tissues and things that go into your green bin that gets processed and turned into fertilizer for farmers in our province. So everything you're doing to sort your garbage is making a big difference to reduce our impact on the environment.
That's super interesting. Kate, during the early days of the COVID lockdown, Daniel, Isabella, and I noticed that our neighborhood and local park would sometimes have some litter lying around, so we decided to start cleaning up a bit. Recently, we heard about the City of Vaughan hosting a program called the 20-Minute Makeover.
Yes, Mommy signed us up for it. And this week we walked around our neighborhood and cleaned up the litter we came across.
It was great to see the neighborhood become cleaner, but it was also an awesome family activity to do together. Kate, for our awesome little listeners who wonder about how they can help keep their neighborhoods tidy, would you please explain to us what the 20-Minute Makeover is?
So every year around this time, early April, it's called the 20-Minute Makeover, and thousands of people across Vaughan take part. And so what the city does is coordinates all the bags and gloves. We send out these kits to everybody who is interested, who's donating their time and energy and effort to make their city beautiful, to keep Vaughan beautiful. And it's really a great time of year because when the snow melts, everything looks kind of not as nice as it normally does. It's kind of brown, and all the snow reveals this kind of little bit of litter that's been accumulating all winter. And so it's a great time for everyone to get out, clean it all up, make it beautiful. Everything starts growing. It's just a beautiful community event that people do together. Because it would be really hard if it was just city staff. That's like thousands of hours of extra effort and work that the community gives to the city. So we're really grateful for that. Yeah, so hundreds and hundreds of bags of litter are collected. thousands of people take part, and we're really grateful for all that work. It's called the 20-minute makeover because, normally you can clean up a little area by your house, boulevard, park, wherever you want in about 20 minutes, and it makes a big difference.
That's awesome. It's so nice to know that we could all make a difference and make our neighborhoods nice and clean.
Absolutely. Kate, thank you so much for answering all our curious questions and breaking down for us what the City of Vaughan does to make sure that we live in this beautiful and growing city.
Oh, thanks so much. I really enjoyed talking to you and meeting you all.
I learned so much today about garbage management.
And me. I feel like I need a rest now.
Me too. But wait, we need to figure out what to explore next week.
I know. I recently learned about the pyramids of Giza. I would love to explore them with you.
Oh, that's a great idea. Friends at home, we hope that you enjoyed learning with us about solid waste collection and how our city manages compost, garbage, and recycling. Join us again next Sunday as we explore another amazing topic, the pyramids of Giza. We really hope that you enjoyed tuning in to today's episode. If you enjoy exploring these amazing topics along with us, we would really love it if you could leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any other platform that you listen to us on. In the review, please include some of your topic suggestions of what you would like us to explore, and we will be super excited to learn about that topic with you in future episodes. You can also send us an audio recording with your topic suggestion to our email, kidsplorers.podcast@gmail.com, and we will be super excited to feature your message in that episode. Your reviews are really important to us as they allow our podcast to grow. You can also connect with us on Facebook and Instagram by searching Kidsplorers Podcast. We always love hearing from you guys. And this is it, the end of our 16th episode.
Thank you all.
Until next week, goodbye.